Prasanna, so good to have you here. And I'll hand over the stage to you.
Thank you very much, Anisha. Thanks for having me. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Glad to be here on this forum. I appreciate inviting me and sharing my thoughts. Thank you very much, Anisha, again. So I've been here in Africa for about 9 years, and I'd like to share my observations, rather my humble observations. I'm still learning new things every day, and there's so much happening since the pandemic began. I have been part of Dangote Group. Dangote Group has been a pioneer in West Central Africa in manufacturing, one of the pioneers. We have done grassroots innovation led by our esteemed founder, Aliko Dangote, who about 35 years ago started this organization in arduous and demanding circumstances. And we continue to grow today. And I can attribute a good part of our success in the recent times to our efforts in automation, leveraging the scale of technology that is available today, and digital transformation. I'd like to share a brief video clip that I came across just to set the stage and tone for the discussion. Please allow me to share my screen here.
Africa is thinking big on digital transformation, and the time for growth is now. When the pandemic accelerated digital adoption, it showed the importance of connectivity and exposed a growing digital divide. A class of people have been left behind, lacking access, opportunity, and skills. Africa's digital needs for people, businesses, and governments became painfully evident. Today, Africa's youth are trying to access better technology to achieve their dreams. But only 1/3 of Africans have access to broadband connectivity. The challenge is immense, and the digital divide is growing. Together, let's unite for Africa's historic digital transformation. Our goal is to ensure every individual, business, and government in Africa can be online by 2030. To reach that, countries will need to invest strategically in the pillars of the digital economy. We can concentrate our efforts and catalyze action to promote inclusive and safe digital innovation across infrastructure, public platforms, financial services, business, and individual skills. The time for action is now. The work ahead is ambitious and bold. Let's transform the way that people, businesses, and governments work to fast-track economic transformation in Africa. What can you do to build a future-ready digital Africa?
Okay. Stop the share.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. How are we doing?
Okay, back online. So there is a significant emphasis on multiple lines of action. So we see whenever we talk about digitalization, the way we want to go forward, I would like to address it in 3 main dimensions: people, process, and technology. Bringing about change with the way we think, the way we are enabled with our skills, the way we can do our jobs is about the primary aspect of this digital transformation journey that we have. Over the years, I have seen a significant uptake in the consumption of digitalization with the social media, with the mobile money, with the way we are using for our day-to-day commerce transactions, even in the remotest parts of Africa. Although in some cases, it's more about using still things like SMS and other old-time technologies, but you can see that the people are a lot more dependent on the way they use technology than ever before. It has become quintessential for the day-to-day commerce in some parts of the country, where especially in Africa, especially in West Africa, I can say that the banking and financial industry has done extraordinarily well in driving the adoption of some of these technologies. There's still a lot ways to go, especially with the gap in the communications technology reaching some remote parts. As the telecoms build out their networks, we see more and more adoption with smartphones, with mobile apps, and social media goes a long way in enabling that to be embraced in especially people with low education and skills. In terms of process, the industry leads the journey in a way. Governments, of course, play a facilitating role, and I see that there are several initiatives by African Union, by governments, by World Bank, by International Monetary Fund to boost the digital adoption across the government and industry. In Nigeria, the federal government has embarked on a digital initiative to automate many of their government processes, the way they do business, the way they are facilitating some of their electronic portals for the general population to use and access different services. We see Central Bank of Nigeria being a significant driver for the digitalization, especially in the banking and finance sector, by regulating and directing banks to even do it faster than they would want to do in normal circumstances. So all these are adding up to the momentum in the digitalization journey that that we are going through right now. We have seen in the pandemic, especially in 2020 and 2021, after the initial shock of being in lockdowns and isolation, we have sprung back into embracing some of these digital tools and technologies. Even small grocers were compelled to look for how they can sell their merchandise through online digital means. I did see a good deal of uptick, and especially in urban regions, with the online banking and transactions. So in terms of technology, there is a significant momentum that we see in this day and age, especially since 2017, in the last 5 years. And again, last 2 years has even hastened this adoption. I was speaking to some telecom providers, and they say that they have seen their volumes, the traffic, if not for revenues, at least the traffic doubled by almost, nearly 90%, I would say. And that is a key performance indicator that people are embracing. Of course, a good deal of it could be streaming, entertainment content, but again, it is certainly an indicator of the adoption of the digital and online. We see more advancements happening with more and more cloud providers coming into Africa, establishing their data centers. I see at least a a tripling of data center capacity in the next 2 years compared to where we are today. Some very large data centers are coming in, along with some providers like AWS, Google, Microsoft, SAP, etc., coming into the fray. So, what do we need to do from industry as business stakeholders? I think the key thing is look at our own digitalization efforts. I can speak from my experience that we have done more digitalization in the last 3 years than we ever did in the last 15, 20 years. Each business has to take their own initiative in furthering the community efforts that are ongoing here. We need to look at what government is trying to do, what the African Union, the financial community, the enablers are trying to do here. We have options for funding some of these digital efforts and offsetting, and there is also a definitive ROI that we can see in 1 to 2 years time frame with the adoption of some of these digital automation tools. Cloud obviously gives us a significant scale, as we have used in our scenario. Building out infrastructure can always have its own latency in our region. Cloud technology comes to a significant part to save us from the lead time that we face with the adoption of the digitalization. We're able to use workflow automation tools. We're able to use analytics, even leveraging tools like artificial intelligence at the cloud scale. If we try to build out all these on a local level, it becomes very time consuming and delayed. So I would say that industry has to continue to play a leading part with innovation, with adoption, as we try to bring more and more of our services. Today, with the digitalization that we have done, we have direct interfaces to about almost 80 banks across Pan-Africa, where customers can go and transact directly with Dangote group of businesses from their own mobile apps or their own bank teller interfaces that they have already. So this is a major part of our own internal efforts to enable digitalization. We're setting up portals for B2B and B2C consumers to order our services, and we are trying to interface with several online platforms as well at the same time. We're also looking at automating the supply chain with logistics, with the procurement activities, with shipping we have going on from across the world. So some of these are yielding significant benefits already. And I would like to end my note with saying that we all have a part to play, and businesses have much to gain from the digitalization efforts, and it pretty much can make or break the way we do business. If we don't digitalize, we will stand to lose. We will be extinct in the next 3 to 5 years. So this is the opportune time for us to initiate and get on the bandwagon with rapid upskilling and investing incrementally on the digital solutions and technologies. Thank you. Anisha, back to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Prasanna, for your insightful presentation. There is a question that has come in, Prasanna, and if you can just take up this question. It's come up from Morgan Vangi. He's asking, does the pandemic actually affect digital transformation? If so, how?
I think the pandemic accelerated our digital transformation. All of a sudden, it highlighted how essential the connectivity is. We have seen the rapid adoption of Zoom, Teams, and other video collaboration technologies. That is just a way to get started, right? But then we are seeing adoption of the digital platforms, cloud-based SaaS tools that enable you to access subscription-based services from human resources, e-commerce, from automating simple workflows that we use on a daily basis. So I think it has been nearly 2 years since we are into this pandemic. And I think I can say confidently that our business continued to grow during the pandemic. And we became adept at getting things done no matter where we are. Only a small fraction of our employees could come to office. Of course, factories, they were staff always working at the shop floor, but in terms of people not in the shop floor, vast majority, almost everyone at some point, were working remotely from home, primarily, I would say. So we could get things done pretty much without any disruption. And we even helped the business grow without any hindrance during this period. Of course, business, of course, thanks to the efforts of sales, marketing, and production people working hard, we achieved some of these things, and IT was able to uphold those operations without any disruption. Another key thing that we also came to realize during this pandemic is cybersecurity is very critical to the last mile. Traditionally we focused, if you're a business, you focus making sure that your office network is safe, you have a good firewall and threat mitigation solutions. But with the pandemic, we came to realize how critical it is to protect all the way up to the homes of the employees. So there is increased awareness on how to transact in a secure way. So a lot is now being focused on the awareness of end users and how they can securely work from their homes and wherever they are. So I think pandemic is, I think actually, I would say as difficult as it has been, but I think it has been really a boost for digitalization across the world and in particular in Africa.
We have a few more, I think questions coming up, Prasanna. One is coming in from 𝐺𝐻𝐿. The question is, how CBS solution selection for Ethiopian banks can be considered?
I'm not too sure what that abbreviation means.
Even I'm not too sure about this, the abbreviation. Okay. But another question that is coming from John Kalo is, how has Dangote adopted IoT for both manufacturing processes and business operations? Okay, so IoTs have been around for longer than the current generation of IoTs. Companies like GE, Siemens have been doing IoTs for decades in a way. But what is significant now is the miniaturization and pervasiveness of these IoTs. We've been doing things like power plant turbine monitoring, monitoring of some critical equipment for years, for more than 10 years, remotely through VPN networks, which have been done by the OEMs themselves. But now the scale has become a lot more smaller, much more agile, and more within reach for us. So we have IoTs like GPS trackers that are connected real time to our company networks. So we have GPS trackers in about close to 7,000 trucks that we operate in the region. So all these are cloud connected, and we have real-time monitoring of these. And now we are working to enable, give more visibility to customers on where their orders are on a real-time basis.
we're just scratching the surface on this, and we are working now to do more digitalization at the shop floor level with deployment of some of the low-end IoT devices to help us to scale the various sensors to help us monitor the vibration, the temperature, humidity, the noise, and other parameters right from the shop floor through some edge-based aggregation, and then stream it to the cloud so that we can do big data-based insights at scale. So these are all work in progress, and some of these technologies will only be fully deployed in about a 2 years time frame. But the exciting thing is that these technologies are much more mainstream. There are more analytical tools. There's more AI and ML-based technologies that have become mainstream and accessible at least by the cloud. So we are working hard at it, and even in some of the new businesses that we are deploying, for example, oil refinery that we are working on right now, there are a lot more IoTs that are being deployed at the infrastructure level, right at the get-go. So there's a lot more digital control. We're looking at digital twins, digital twin operating model to fully simulate the operation of our refinery. So there are some other things that we are working on. There are a few more things that not be able to share more details, but we'll see as things go.
Thank you so much, Prasanna, for joining us, giving us your presentation, and also answering so many questions that have come in from all those who have heard you. And in case if you have more questions, you can always drop a mail to Prasanna or his team, and I'm sure they'd be happy to help you out with those questions. Thank you so much, Prasanna, for joining us.